Hello and welcome to Japan Lyric Room. In this show, we take a close look at the lyrics of Japanese songs, and we try to, unpack the meaning behind the phrases and the unique cultural context in a way that's easy to understand. And today, the song we're looking at is a huge one. It's Plastic Love by Mariya Takeuchi.
It really is an icon of 80s Japanese city pop, a true classic.
Absolutely. The sound is so sophisticated. That arrangement by Tatsuro Yamashita is just perfect. It feels so urban.
It does, but behind that incredible sound, the theme is actually a deep loneliness that I think still feels very modern. It's this cry from an empty heart that's kind of lost sight of what real love even is.
That's so true. And I think for a lot of our listeners who maybe found this song on YouTube around 2018, it just blew up globally. It became this phenomenon far beyond just Japanese retro pop.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting. The song is a whole world. It creates this scene of a glittering city at night, fancy dresses, and this, plastic or artificial love. But it uses these beautiful poetic metaphors to paint a really complex picture of the main character's heart.
Okay, so let's start right there with the title, Plastic Love. When you first hear that word plastic, what's the immediate thought?
Well, the immediate assumption is fake, right? Artificial,
Yeah.
phony. But what's so fascinating is that plastic love doesn't necessarily mean fake love. It points to a kind of chosen emotional distance.
A chosen distance. What do you mean by that?
Think about what plastic is. It's light, it can be beautiful, it's hard to break, it's durable.
So it's not about being inauthentic, it's about being invulnerable, a shield.
Precisely. The title itself symbolizes a love that lacks warmth, and that's key, but it's designed for self-preservation. It's a defense mechanism that the narrator chooses after a really bad heartbreak.
So you're choosing durability over, say, genuine vulnerability.
Exactly. And that sets the scene perfectly for a woman navigating life in, 1980s urban Japan. Everything was glossy and fast-paced.
And this brings us to the core idea we'll be exploring today, which is how Japanese lyrics so often work.
It's this mastery of, you could call it aesthetic deflection.
Deflection.
Yeah, they avoid direct emotional confession. You'll almost never hear a lyric that just says, I am heartbroken.
Instead, that feeling is shown indirectly.
Yes, through lifestyle choices, through actions, through these beautiful but sometimes misleading metaphors. And Plastic Love is just a masterpiece of this kind of controlled, sophisticated expression.
All right, let's get into the lyrics themselves. The very first phrase we're looking at really establishes this idea of love as a managed system.
It does, which translates to don't mess up the program of love. My first reaction is, why a program? It's such a cold technical word for romance.
That's the whole point, isn't it? I mean, if she had said, don't break my heart, that's raw, it's vulnerable.
But using the English loanword, programu,
It instantly reframes the entire relationship. It's not about feeling, it's about data, input, output, something to be managed.
and the verb used, kuruwasanai, don't mess up, or don't drive crazy, it suggests a total system failure.
It really does. The lines right before this even talk about meeting and breaking up as things you skillfully enter into your emotional system.
So she's not just asking him to be casual, she's basically saying, stay within the code's parameters. Don't introduce a bug into my system. It's a warning. And it shows a deep defensive posture, born from past trauma. She's treating her own heart like this incredibly sensitive machine that just cannot handle unexpected input. The fear of chaos is so great that she's replaced raw emotion with cold logic.
The ultimate plastic defense. Okay, so moving on, the song finds a very subtle way to describe her emotional state. This is our second phrase.
Continuing life where day and night are reversed.
If you were just listening to the groove of the song, you would never guess that a line about her sleep schedule is actually the key to her pain.
But it's such a classic device in Japanese lyrics, isn't it? To use an external symptom to show an internal wound.
It is. Instead of saying, I'm isolated or I'm depressed, she just points to her lifestyle.
Her Hitsuya Yakuten, the reverse day-night schedule.
Right. And living like that, awake when the rest of society is asleep, it symbolizes a forced distance from reality, from convention.
It's like she's physically opting out of the world where, stable daylight relationships happen, and choosing the artificial, transient world of the city at night instead. Which, of course, perfectly suits her plastic emotional state. The pain of the past is literally changing her way of life.
And that leads us perfectly into the next phrase, which is all about what she does in that nighttime world.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, which is, it's a learned magic. I'm sorry. This is where it gets really interesting for me. Why call it magic?
It's such a beautiful word, majutsu. Magic. It's poetic.
But what she's describing is basically escapism, right? Dancing the night away, distracting herself?
Exactly. And that's the brilliance of the word choice. Magic is the sophisticated metaphor for running away from her pain. She could have used a harsher word like distraction or escapism, but that wouldn't fit the polished city pop vibe.
It makes the coping mechanism sound refined.
Yes. And then you get that little English phrase tacked on at the end, I'm sorry.
It almost feels like a throwaway line. It doesn't sound like a deep apology. It's not. It's almost like a social gesture. By tossing in that light, casual English phrase, she's creating even more distance.
An apology to who? To her dance partner? To herself?
Maybe both. It's a quick, light way to say, this is what I have to do to cope. Sorry if it's not what you want. It keeps things from getting too heavy. It keeps the relationship plastic.
Okay, so now we get to what is probably the most famous line in the whole song, the ultimate statement of this plastic distance. Phrase 4.
Never seriously love me.
On the surface, it's just a blunt command. Keep it casual.
But it feels like a paradox. If she's trying so hard to be durable and guarded, isn't ordering someone not to love you actually a huge sign of vulnerability?
You've hit on exactly what makes the line a masterpiece of indirect expression.
Go on.
That command. It's really an external projection of her own internal weakness. She's been hurt so badly that she genuinely feels incapable of being in serious relationship again. She just can't do it. So instead of admitting her own limitation, saying, I can't be serious with you,
she flips it. She turns her own broken state into a command for her partner. Don't you be serious with me. It's the ultimate act of emotional displacement. It maintains the illusion that she's in control when really she's confessing that she's broken.
wow, that changes everything. And then that internal state is immediately translated into her appearance, right?
Yes, in phrase 5. Jane Min, flashy dress and shoes are my lonely friends.
And this connects to another line in the song about decorating a closed heart.
I always pictured decorating as, making herself look attractive. But it's not that, is it? It's more like she's decorating a fortress.
That's a great way to put it. The decorating here is about armoring up, concealing. The flashy clothes are the facade, the defense mechanism designed to keep people at a safe distance.
So they only see the shiny plastic exterior, not the fragile person inside.
And what about who her friends are? Her shoes and her dress.
Her lonely friends. Befriending inanimate objects. It's just the quietest, most poetic way to show true solitude. She's actively replacing human connection with the predictable, safe company of her own accessories. She never has to say, I'm alone, because she shows it to us.
And it seems like she knows she's caught in this loop. This brings us to phrase 6, which addresses that pattern.
The person who invites me is ironic or cynical. What's the tone here? What does she mean by ironic?
Well, I don't think she's angry. That would mean cracking the plastic shell.
Right, that would be too vulnerable.
The tone feels more like calm acceptance, a kind of weary resignation.
So the irony is that.
The irony is that the people who ask her out now in this new life, they all seem to remind her of the one who hurt her in the first place.
She sees the pattern repeating itself. She does. And again, the lyrical genius is that she doesn't get emotional about it. She doesn't scream, why do I always fall for the same type? She just calmly points it out with this detached, analytical word, irony. It's a very adult, very Japanese way of showing she accepts this cycle as part of her managed program.
Okay, so the final phrase. The song doesn't end with a big emotional climax. It just fades out.
It does, with this very specific cinematic image in phrase 7. When falling asleep on the highway late at night.
Now, obviously, we're not talking about her literally falling asleep at the wheel. That would be a very different song.
So it's a metaphor. The highway, the sleep. What does it all mean?
Well, the late night highway, bathed in all that artificial halogen light. It's the perfect symbol for the world she lives in. Artificial, transient, nocturnal.
Okay.
And falling asleep, here is the end of her performance for the night. The magic has worn off. The energy she uses to keep that glamorous facade up is gone. So it's the quiet moment at the end of the night when she's alone again with her thoughts, stripped of the neon lights and the dancing.
Exactly. The song doesn't have a resolution. It just fades out into this silence and artificial light, suggesting that tomorrow she'll just get up and do it all over again. Put the plastic shell back on.
So if we put all these pieces together, what this exploration of the lyrics really shows is that Plastic Love is a song about survival.
It is. It's not about glamour at all, really. All these themes, the program, the nocturnal life, the lonely accessories, they document how she's built a life purely for self-preservation.
It's a very pragmatic, if tragic, choice to sacrifice real happiness for emotional safety. That plastic shell is unbreakable, but nothing can get in either.
That's the heart of it. Plastic isn't fake, it's durable. She created a strong, unbreakable form of non-love to protect herself after being deeply wounded. And that idea, I think, really captured a hidden feeling in 1980s Japan, that high-gloss sophistication often masked a deep, controlled loneliness.
That's the true weight of the song. And it leaves me with a question for you, our listeners, to think about. We've established that this plastic shell is effective, it prevents more pain. But if the character in this song is willing to sacrifice genuine connection for that level of self-preservation, what does that choice tell us about the hidden emotional cost of the success and sophistication of that era?
Was that durability ultimately worth the loneliness? Tough question.
It is.
Thank you so much for listening this time.
We pick up various Japanese songs and update detailed commentaries on our website.
If you want to explore these lyrics even more, please check out the link in the description.
And if you enjoyed this program, please consider subscribing or following the channel.
We'd also love to hear from you. If you have any feedback or requests for songs you'd like us to cover, please let us know in the comments.
We hope to see you next time. This was Japan Lyric Room.